Hello, I am re-recording the video's intro because I actually watched it recently and I feel like the beginning was super unclear, so I'm here just to recuperate. So the date at the bottom right here is going to be different from the rest of the footage. Hopefully that's not too big of an issue. But pretty much this piece is a piece you haven't seen yet if you're only coming from my YouTube. I have an Instagram in the description, so please go check that out, but I mainly posted this on Instagram because the size actually wouldn't fit on a community post on YouTube, which is a shame. But regards to that fact, I have to be honest with myself, and I don't really like the piece. I'm trying to be honest, or I'm trying to tell myself that the piece looks good and try to not be too down on myself, since I feel like I should look at my pieces in a more positive light. But reality is that every time I look at this piece, I feel like there's a lot of issues with it, and I feel like I need it to be fixed as soon as possible. So this video is going to be me fixing a lot of the issues. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of red mark it like a teacher and point out the problems that I have with it, and hopefully we can fix it throughout the rest of the footage, and hopefully you enjoy it at the very end. So by the end of this video, if you do like the changes and you think it has improved, please tell me. This isn't like comment baiting or anything like that. The whole point of this channel is to grow and improve, and I need you to tell me if you like it or not. I might like it, I might think it's better, but someone else might not think it's as appealing. And I try to make art for other people, which some people might say it's a bad thing, but I like making art for other people. So but also give me some critiques, give me some advice. Anything that would improve things or anything that would make it better would be accepted and would be loved, as long as it's constructive criticism and not just telling me like you stink or something like that. I get so that being said, let's actually red mark some of this. I'm going to zoom out now because this is actually this box is what I like about it. Once you zoom out a little bit, you might notice some of the mistakes. In my opinion, there are about 2 big mistakes, maybe 3. I'm just gonna put 3 mistakes here. The first mistake, in my opinion, is composition. I think there are some issues, mainly because this is a centerpiece where the subject is directly in the center. It's a little bit hard to kind of put things anywhere else that would kind of distract it from the center. So what I want to do is at least move this pole. This is mainly the issue. Move the pole over to the side just slightly a bit to match with the rule of thirds, but at the same time removing some of the attention because this thing is just kind of smacked up in the middle. So I might make it a little bit lighter, I might make it a little bit softer, and then move it slightly to the right hand side of the canvas in order just to give more attention in the center on the girl and the car, right? I feel like that makes a lot of sense. 2, the second issue, in my opinion, is proportion. And when I mean proportion, I mean specifically proportion. Why can't I spell? It's with a T, not an S. Sorry. It is late. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. So with proportions, the biggest issue with proportions is the car itself. If you look at the girl and then you look at the car, you can kind of tell that I feel like the car is a little bit small. What I want to do throughout this piece, what I already have done, is I'm going to extend this car's behind to be a little bit farther. And I also think the car should be a little bit taller. I also think these wheels are too big, but throughout when I was fixing the sketch, I found that changing the wheels and the height of the car was a little much, so I opted into just changing the backside of the car to be longer. And overall, I think the change actually ended up looking okay. It actually looked fine, but I do just know that I do think the car is a little bit short, and I do think the wheels are oddly large. All right, I just want to make that apparent so no one points that out later on. And lastly, and this is actually the biggest part, it's detail. I spelled detail wrong. What am I doing? Detail. All right, so to best show the detail, I'm going to show you the main pieces that I drew first. When I originally first drew the sketch or the drawing, I worked on the girl first, the bag first, and the cup first. And you can tell because there's a lot of clothes folds. There's a lot of clothes folds on her pants. There's a lot of detail within them, the shoes, the hair. Everything just looks really nice and crisp. Hell, even the bag has a bunch of folds. There's a lot of straps that kind of go up and down the car, and the cup has freaking water droplets, and that looks really cool. It looks really neat. All that detail looks really nice. But just like how when you're writing an essay, and the longer the essay kind of goes on, you kind of start to fumble a little bit, and I should have taken more time, because when you look at the rest of the piece, this rail right here is completely flat. There's no textures on it. There's no shadows on it. There's no bumps, no bruises, no nothing, absolutely nothing. This grass right here, notice how there's grass and then it cuts abruptly into concrete. There's no transition with dirt, rubble, blades of grass growing inside the concrete. There's anything like that. It's like someone got really super lazy, or rushed themselves, and ended up just cutting it off. Like, this isn't a Minecraft game where the biomes just shift very suddenly, right? It makes no sense, because in reality, nature transitions with each other, even if it's man-made, right? Even when things slowly wear down, you'll start noticing a natural transition between two different textures and surfaces. So it goes from grass to rock to concrete. It's not just grass, boom, sudden line concrete. And lastly, the detail in the concrete is just absolutely terrible. It is legitimately garbage. Notice how when you look out in a road, there's cracks in the road, there's pebbles in the road, there's lines on the road. It's consistently driven on and roughed up every single day, and yet this road right here looks spanking clean. It looks like it was just newly paved, which isn't true. I said lastly, but this is actually the last point. The biggest issue, in my opinion, is the car, and this is the reason why I don't really like this piece. I hate, and I mean I hate it. I hate the car. The car is one of the center pieces of this entire piece, and look how bland it is. Look how absolutely bland it is. The wheels are too large. There's not even textures on the inside of the wheels, even though there should be. It's just solid black, like a Roblox car. Look at the body of this car. No textures, no bruises, no rusts, no changes, no bumps, no nicks, no knacks, none of that stuff at all. The glass is just a straight flat blue, and there's like not even lenses within the light. I hate everything about this car, so that's probably the thing that I change and work on the most and out of all the footage. So after all of that, and after telling you what I hate about this drawing, hopefully throughout the speed draw that you're going about to see, you're going to like the final piece. Now, I don't think that everyone's going to watch the entire speed draw, so if you would like to skip to the very end, that is totally okay. My main goal is that hopefully you guys give me critiques on the before and after. So thank you very much for sticking around this long and hearing me rant and complain. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video, and I guess I will see you in about 3 minutes probably, or instantly if you skip ahead. So bye bye. So with all of that done, it's time to kind of sit down and just discuss a little bit. I won't hold you for too long. So this is pretty much how I wanted it to go. If I were to go back in and add a little bit more additions, I would mainly add a lot more detail within the back, change some stuff up. So the main thing that I did change was the car and the fence. Now I did add a bit of transition. If you look very closely, from the grass to the road, adding a little bit more dirt, a little bit more of a smoother transition, kind of like, you're going from natural terrain to man-made terrain, man-made concrete that's been slathered on top of dirt and road. So there's gonna be some that seep out, some cracks, also this like little line that you have on the roads, the white line that tells you where the road is, solid dashed lines. I added it loosely because it's kind of like in the countryside, so I doubt that it's going to be there and they're going to be brand spanking new, but they're definitely going to exist because in the United States at least we have those lines. But really the main focus is the car. I was really unsatisfied with the car originally because it just felt really small and very, very little detail was actually drawn into the car, despite it being legitimately in the smack dab center. So it felt really weird to have a girl that's like has detail on her clothing, has her hair everywhere, looks super cool, and then you have her sitting on top of something that just looks like a Roblox, like a very minimalistic toy car. So I decided to add some dashes on the glass, which usually in comic books stuff like that kind of show a transparent material, some scuff marks at the bottom of the car, more dents and kind of lines on the wheels. I also added the inside of the wheels here. I added that in there because it makes no sense why they're solid black. I don't know why I originally did that at all, though I don't really know how wheels work, so I just kind of added like a little axle or like a little thing where the axle would kind of go into. Not that I know for sure that's how it actually works. I also added some transparent light bulbs in there because I just thought it was kind of neat. Maybe I should have done the same for the backlight right there, but I did add a backlight, and I of course extended the lower half of the car to make it a little bit longer, so it makes it more proportional. And the fence is a pretty big change. After I started doing it, after I started fixing things, I started reimagining it as more of the countryside, not like more of the countryside type of area where a beautiful sky is just kind of there and she's just kind of taking a smoke outside the city because it's just more relaxing. So I decided to change it from a highway rail onto something more of a wooden fence, which I thought turned out really nice. I really like the wooden texturing that I did. I kind of did it I kind of searched up a little wooden texturing, manga texturing on Pinterest, and then I just started mimicking it as close as I can, and I think it turned out pretty solid for the first try. But one last thing, so overall I'm pretty happy with it. It definitely makes this piece a lot more enjoyable to look at now. I'm not satisfied with it. Obviously I think satisfaction and content is something that I'm pretty afraid of. I want to be consistently improving, but I am happy with the outcome, a lot more happier than the piece on the right hand side. But there is one thing that I did try. Now one thing that I did try was actually a piece where I completely removed the fence. Now you tell me if you actually prefer this one or not, and if you prefer the other two, just pick your favorite out of the bunch. But the reason why I removed the fence is because there was just one comment in the back of my mind from both video and an acquaintance that I know on Instagram, and they gave me advice on my backgrounds. I think acquaintance is a perfect word for it. They said that usually whenever you're doing a composition where your subject is smack dab in the middle, it's best that you make it a feature, like the biggest feature, and very little else distracting it. It has a meaning to it when something is smack dab in the middle. So you want as little things as possible to distract from it. And I thought that the fence being there, stretching across from both sides of the paper, having a lot of textures, and not really being just being an extra really, because not all roads really have fences, I decided to remove it and see how that looks. So I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if it's better or worse. I know that it does allow me to focus on the center since there's less to look at, but either or, I think having a little bit more just to keep things interesting is a little bit better. But then again, I did make it because it seemed interesting. So besides that, I do hope that you enjoy the pieces. I do hope that you enjoyed watching this video in general. Thank you for sticking around this long. If you have watched, and please give me your input. Please tell me which one you prefer, either the old one, the very first one, the newest one, or the one about the fence, because maybe I need to just kind of learn more about people's preferences and how it appeals to you whenever I remove and change things up. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Please check my Instagram if you really want to. You can critique and give me advice all the way over there, and I hope you enjoyed yourself, because I did myself. It was very satisfying to watch it become the right hand side to the left hand side. So yeah. I also want to thank I didn't ask her if I was allowed to offer her name, but she did offer me very great advice. And oh shit, I'm give me a second. I know I should remember her name at this point, because they offered me one of her rights, but I forgot if it was Riri or if it was Rini. I think it's Rini. Okay, so it's Rini on Instagram. I'll leave her account in the bottom. I really love her art. Her art's really fantastic, and she gave me a lot of wonderful insight for this video. I'm also gonna leave her YouTube channel, but I'm not particularly sure if she wants me to do that, since she hasn't uploaded a video in a while. But then again, it's on her Instagram anyway, so I'll just leave it in there since it's pretty easy to find. But I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care, and see you soon, probably. Oh, drink lots of water. Oh, and here are the 3 comments. What am I doing? I'm going crazy.